Hi, this is Rachael from off-road.cc, and today we're taking a first look at 2018 Transition Smuggler. So this is Transition's bike with their SBG, which is Speed, Balance, Geometry, but I'll explain a bit more on that later. First of all, Spec and Geometry. So we've got a medium bike in, and it's the top spec X01 bike, which comes in at £5,050 for an alloy frame bike. So Spec, it's a 120mm bike, so that's up 5mm from last year at the rear. It uses 140mm forks rather than 130 for last year. Fox 34s on the front, Fox DPS shock on the rear. Then elsewhere, you've got Guide RSC brakes, so that's a 4-pot with both the reach and a bite adjust. X01 mech, but with a GX Eagle cassette. It's got carbon Chuvit cranks, so running on E13 wheels, which are 30mm internal diameter, and Maxxis tyres. Elsewhere, Rockshox 125 reverb, and then got race face parts up on the bars here. Oh, the other thing to mention is the Rockshox reverb comes with the new underbar remote, which is cool. So for the geometry then, reach on this bike is longer than last year, so it's 450. Seat tube's shorter at 410. The chainstays are shorter at 430, and the wheelbase is longer at 11.84. Other things to mention, head angle is slacker at 66 degrees, and the seat tube is steeper. So now for my medium bike, it's 76.3 degrees, which is pretty steep for a trail bike. That's pretty cool. So now's the time to talk about SBG, Speed, Balance, Geometry. So you might have heard quite a lot of talk about it, and a lot of talk about fork offset. And while that's a big part of it, Transition are thinking of SBG as a big package. So the bike will be designed about having a longer reach, slacker head angle, using shorter stems, and using a shorter offset. So while most of those things are self-explanatory, we mostly need to talk about the offset and explain what that is. So to get the offset, or to measure the offset, you basically have to think of two lines. So the first one runs through your star nut, down through your forks and out the bottom to the floor, and that's your steering axis. So just hold that thought, thinking of that line. The second line runs from your axle down to the floor through the contact patch on the floor through the tyre. Okay, and then at the top of those, as you'll see on this photo that I'm showing you, that's the offset. Okay, so this bike is designed around a 42mm offset. The other number that you need to look at on that diagram is the trail. So the distance between where those two lines that we've just talked about, where they bisect the floor, that's the trail. So all those things, including the shorter offset, work to help centre the rider on their bike and improve the balance, and also to help a rider weight the front wheel. So you'll probably hear quite a lot of talk about bikes getting longer and having to ride the front more. So it's Transition's way to help the rider get that weight on the front wheel and improve traction. A smaller offset, as on this bike, means that there's more trail, but actually results in a shorter wheelbase. So as I said, helps the rider weight the front wheel and improve traction. It also slows the steering. Okay, so the opposite of having a shorter offset is obviously a longer offset. And with that, you'll get less trail, but it also quickens up the steering. So in the past, 29er bikes, such as this one, would have used a 51mm offset, rather than 42 as this bike's designed around, because that offset would have produced quicker steering and made it feel more like a 27.5-inch bike. So the SBG, Speed, Balance, Geometry, as I said, brings that front axle more rearward and under the rider, so it increases the front wheel traction and makes for a more stable ride. The effect of that also, as I've said, shortens the wheelbase, which then counteracts the effect of that the slacker head angle might have on the bike. As you can tell, again, I have already ridden this one because I just can't help myself, but I'll be getting out more on the trails on this and hopefully have a review for you in a month or so. Thanks for watching.